Hello, guys, and welcome back to the NW Sportscast. We got a really big episode for you guys. All our season predictions is coming in hot today. I'm looking forward to it. Me and Levi haven't been doing a cast in a while, but I'm looking forward to it. Levi, how are you feeling?
Yeah, feeling pretty good about this. The season is 5 days away, so we are really, really close to seeing some meaningful Mariners baseball.
One hand away. We're at the final 5 day countdown. MLB baseball has already gotten underway, but the Mariners still have yet to play. Looking forward to it indeed, Levi. So we have some of our predictions. Obviously, we have our win totals, how deep we think they are going to make it in the playoffs, if they're going to make the playoffs, etc. But we're going to save some of those to the back end of the video. So stick around if you want to watch that. But my first prediction, Levi, I'm going to ask you is something that's kind of been the Mariners' kryptonite throughout the last couple of years. It's their record in April in particular. And they've gotten themselves in deep holes in April and May these last couple of years now. And then they have to bounce back and find a way to get it done in September. They don't want to do that this year. Scott Service has said they want to get off on the right foot. Julio said it. Everyone knows it. But will it happen, Levi? What do you think is your prediction for the first 50 games of the season?
Well, spring training, they've been really hot. They're hitting the ball really well right now. However, the pitchers, it's been another story. The bullpen has definitely been a struggle. Luis Castillo's been really good. The rest of the rotation, not so much in spring training. Not that that really, spring training stats don't matter a whole lot. I don't know, Drew. It's tough because you're right. The past couple of years, we've been so bad in May and April. It's like
It's
I don't
brutal
know
because
what to
then you
expect.
rely on a
I'm
19
gonna
game winning
say
streak.
I think we'll be 27 and 23, 50 games into the season.
Yeah, so obviously kind of just a guess, an estimate by us, but you got any reasoning behind that, Levi? I mean, 27, 23. If you do that throughout the season and you do that two more times, you're going to probably make the playoffs.
I mean, you probably wouldn't actually.
Yeah, good point.
That would give you 87, 88 wins, so you'd be right on the
You'd
cusp
be
of
right
the
there.
playoffs.
You
You'd be
you would
right
put
there.
yourself in a position to make the playoffs. But I'm saying compared to
Yeah,
what they've been doing the last couple of years, much better than
right.
last
Yeah.
year they were in a huge hole. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what it was, but going into the All-Star break, we only had a couple of All-Stars. The Mariners were not clicking, and then obviously August happened a few months later. Yeah, they definitely need to get off on the right foot. I'm gonna semi agree with you. I think they're gonna get to 30 wins. I have them going 30 and 20 in their first 50 games. I
Wow.
think it's just been such a priority for Scott Service and this team to start off hot. Maybe almost too much pressure. It could go the other way, but I think that Julio and them boys, they get it going fast. Julio's not no rookie no more. He's not a second year player. He is experienced. He's going to lead this team in the first 50 games, something that he hasn't been able to do in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean the fear there is obviously there's two things that really kind of plays against the Mariners early in the season, which is the Marine Layer, which obviously affects the batters hitting in Seattle. That's been pretty much like proven. It makes us worse in the spring as well as in September. It makes us it not doesn't make us worse, but it makes our offense worse.
Which makes the other offense worse too.
It
But
does
yeah,
make the other offense worse too. But I mean that plays a factor. And then also it's interesting because we've made so many switches to the team this year. We've kind of completely upheaved the lineup.
yeah,
And so with so many new players, you have to hope that they can gel together right away. Because I think that may have been the problem last season is like you've got Colton Wong new, you've got Teoscar was new, you didn't have Mitch and you didn't have the leadership that he had. You had quite a few new players last year, starting players who were hitting at the
yeah.
top of your lineup. And I wonder if that kind of contributed to the slow start because they
It
weren't
probably did. It
gelled
probably
together.
did for sure. But you could also say that a couple of new guys, bring some spark. You bring back Mitch Haniger this
Yeah.
year, that helps out. It'll be interesting to see, but for sure, it's definitely important for the Mariners to get off hot, to get going right away. Because if you don't do that, it just the whole vibe of the season immediately starts to decline. We'll see what happens. This next one, Levi, I got for you. We'll see if you can kind of just make it on the fly. Pitcher of the year for the Mariners. The Mariners, Cy Young. Who do you think it's going to be?
Drew, I think I'm gonna have to go with my guy George Kirby. I think he's the best pitcher on the Mariners. Obviously, Luis Castillo has done some great things throughout his career. Luis Castillo is the opening day starter for the second year in a row. But if we're just going off of who has the most potential to be really, really elite, I think it's Curbs.
Potential.
I think it's Curbs. I mean, already in his 2 seasons, George Kirby has a lower career earned run average than Castillo. He has a lower career whip than Luis Castillo. I love George Kirby, and I think he's only getting better at 25 years old. I think Castillo, now into his 30s, maybe starts to decline just a little bit this year, but I still think they'll both be really good. And Gilbert as well.
They'll be good. It's hard to argue with Kirby, but I am. I think it's going to be Luis Castillo. Look, this guy has the best fastball in baseball. I mean, and he has two of them. He has a two seam and a four seam. He can literally just throw fastballs all day long. And last year there was like a 36 pitch sequence where he only threw fastballs. It was absolutely ridiculous. And what he does is he throws fastballs and he throws them so well, 100 percentile according to Baseball Savant for fastball run value. And if he just gets his breaking run value up a little bit, right now it's hovering around 50%. It's just a little bit over 60. Then he can really start to be a Cy Young winning candidate. Luis Castillo, he is still the best Mariners pitcher. I don't think it's George Kirby's time yet. I think Kirby doesn't get enough swing and misses for me. He doesn't get batters to chase. He relies heavily on kind of dotting the corners and edge of the strike zone, which obviously is very important. Doesn't walk a lot of guys, but pure stuff. Give me Luis Castillo. I think he gets it done again. I think George Kirby needs to wait one more year before being the starting, ace for your Seattle Mariners. But hey, I could be wrong, and I kind of want to be wrong. I think George Kirby, he's 26 years old, and if he even plays as good as Luis Castillo like he did last year, this team is going to be in a lot, in a really, really good spot as far as pitching. It already is, and I'm excited for that for sure. Levi, what's our next prediction we got?
Yeah, one more note though, Drew. I will say this. Castillo, because he is more of a strikeout artist, you're right. He probably has a better chance of winning the Cy Young if he reaches his full potential. Because Cy Young voters love their strikeouts. And
George Kirby's not at a K for George Kirby doesn't have a K for nine yet.
No, exactly. And he may never, because Kirby relies a lot more on kind of the finesse. Well,
he had it his rookie year.
Did he? Okay.
And then it fell off last year, which he actually declined slightly if you really look at the stats from 2022 to 2023.
But Kirby doesn't walk anybody, so that's why he's able to not strike as many guys out.
True, but he doesn't walk anyone. But for me, my ace needs to strike people out. Call me old school. I think George Kirby needs to work on that kill pitch. I don't think he has it yet. And I think that if he figures out a way to get a real nasty slider, something along those lines to put guys away on 2-2 and 3-2 counts, a lot of the times he induces ground balls on those 2-2 counts. And then the guy from third scores instead of a strikeout, which then brings, 2 outs, just situational stuff like that. I would love to see George Kirby add that real kill pitch along with his fastball. He only throws his slider 20% of the time and his curve 11% of the time. And those two pitches, although they're good, they're not elite by any means. I want to see something else out of him. Maybe he doesn't have it in the tank, but I believe in George, and I don't think it happens this year. I think it happens in a couple.
Okay, well, that's an interesting take. But anyways, Drew,
what's interesting about it?
What's interesting is that you don't think he's like reached that elite. I don't know. I think he's already there.
Argue with me about it. Like, well, what's so interesting about me saying he needs to add a kill pitch?
Does he need to add another pitch? Like the dude was
I don't think he needs to add another pitch. I think he needs
to
work on his pitch. I think if he figures out a way to utilize his slider and curve at a more elite level, it would benefit him heavily.
Okay.
He has a breaking run value of 80%. That's good, but it's not elite.
It's bordering line on elite.
His off speed run value is 39%. Look, hey,
Okay.
I don't know. We'll
Sure,
see
he's
what
not as
happens
good
this
at
year.
throwing a changeup, but you don't need to have an elite changeup if you
Yeah,
can
you
use
don't.
it
I,
for
I
good
want to see a slider
utility.
that's more elite.
Okay.
Call
Good
me
take.
crazy.
All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. Drew, I want to hear, who do you have penciled in as your Seattle Mariners rookie of the year for 2024?
Rookie of the year. Is this a guy that has not been in a Mariners uniform that comes in?
Somebody who is a rookie.
Ooh, a guy that is a rookie.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. It really is. There's a few guys, but there's not too many really to choose from. Who do you got, Levi?
For me, I'm going with Ryan Bliss. I know a lot of people would want me to say Samad Taylor. I know Samad Taylor had a fantastic spring training, and I believe he does count as a rookie because he played like 10 games with the Royals last year, but I think he still has rookie status. And I'm seeing everyone on Twitter was getting really mad actually when we sent Samad Taylor down today because they really wanted him on the roster. And people, it goes to show just how much Mariners fans hate Dylan Moore that they wanted Samad Taylor to be the utility man over him. But no, I actually am higher on Ryan Bliss. I think, look, Jerry Dipoto, he saw
Always a
something
thing.
in this guy. He was willing to trade up his closer to get him. I mean, partially it was also Canzone, but I think Bliss was a big part of that deal. He's hit really well throughout his time in the minor leagues. I see him coming to the Mariners and being a really, really strong asset for this team.
Yeah, I don't. I think that he probably stays in AAA, but maybe we're just disagreeing this episode. From what I
Oh,
saw at a month in Tacoma, was an average shortstop. Uh, Not no Jose Altuve. I'll put it that way.
I think he's going to be our starting third baseman by July. And I've said that a
You
lot.
have said that. July's kind of crazy.
I think
That
by
that means
July
he.
he is your, maybe not every day, but I think it'll be him getting the majority of starts with Rojas as your utility.
So you're really low on Urias, and what you think is going to happen is both those guys, when Urias and in Rojas, will both fall off.
I think Rojas will be fine as like a utility infielder, and I think Urias will fall off. Yes.
Okay, we'll see what happens there.
I'm
My
not a
rookie of the
and
year.
again, if you listen to the podcast, you know this. I've never been a Urias fan. I was mad when we traded for him, and I still don't like him that much.
I hope he proves you wrong.
And I mean, I hope he does too. I've been
Yeah.
pining for Matt Chapman all off season, but if Luis Urias proves me wrong, then I don't really care. Like, call me an idiot all you want. Like,
I don't think you're necessarily an idiot. I don't think that it's realistic to think that he's not going to contribute to the team at all by July. That's that's a little bold
he
of me to
also
say.
could get hurt. I mean, the guy was clearly an injury machine last year. He got hurt 3 different times last year. So
Yeah.
I think if somebody gets hurt and Ryan Bliss gets called up, he will not get sent back down. He'll earn a spot over somebody.
Okay. And speaking of injuries, I
But
think
who's
that
your rookie
my
of the year?
rookie of the year. What?
But who is your rookie of the year?
Yeah, I was saying. Speaking of injuries,
Okay.
my rookie of the year is going to have to rely on an injury, but I think it's probably going to happen. I think Emerson Hancock is going to
Mm.
be my Seattle Mariners rookie of the year. It happened last year. You have Bryce Miller and Brian Wu both got called up because of injuries slash players playing not so great. And I think it's going to happen again. I think it's unrealistic to think all five pitchers plays, uh, you know, for an 162 game season and all have 30 starts. I don't really see that happening. So what's going to end up happening is Emerson Hancock is going to have to get called up. I think he's the guy, the first guy out of Tacoma to get brought up to the Mariners, and he's going to make an immediate impact. I'm not super high on Hancock, but I think he can be a solid a solid 4 or 5 on an MLB team. He doesn't have the elite stuff he had when the Mariners drafted him after his shoulder injury, but what he does have is he has an ability to control the strike zone. He can throw strikes, and he's a solid pitcher with some okay stuff. He's going to be able to get it done, and he's going to be able to fill a position like a Brian Wu or a Bryce Miller, although a slightly different pitcher. Now, let's say George Kirby gets hurt, then it's kind of you're just treading water, waiting for him to get back. But I don't think it's a huge step down from Brian Wu to Emerson Hancock, and I think he's going to show it in 2024.
Yeah, honestly, my hot take is I think this upcoming offseason, the debate will be, do we trade Hancock or do we trade Bryce Miller? I think
Okay,
that's
at
going to
the
be the
deadline.
debate. Or no, in the offseason, I mean.
Okay,
I think that after
there's a chance at the
seeing
deadline.
what's that?
You think there's a chance at the deadline? Let's say we need a bat. Let's say your
No,
third baseman plan doesn't come true, but
I doubt it. I doubt
okay.
we. You think we trade a starter at the deadline? I wouldn't. I think that'd be suicide.
It'd be bold for sure, but let's say Emerson Hancock is looking really good, and then Brian Wu comes back from injury, and now all of a sudden you got six pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this: if the offense is just atrocious, but we're like in the there's a scenario where you do that, but it's very it would that's
For
it
an
has to be
outfielder in particular.
like if the offense is as bad as it was last year, but our record is significantly better. Because remember at the deadline
Yeah.
last year, we were like what 2 over 500, right? And then right
Yeah,
after was when we went on that big run. So
correct, but
let's say you're 10 games over 500 at the deadline, but the offense is as bad as it was last year. Then maybe you do trade a starter, but it's hard to see that happening.
yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. But I definitely think there's a way where it does. So we'll have to see for sure.
I think more likely you trade one of the prospects.
Okay. I mean, we
Probably
don't
like
really have enough elite prospects in my mind where you wouldn't be willing to trade Emerson or Ford. So who are you trading to get a quality bat
you're
at the deadline?
probably giving up somebody like Johnny Farmello,
We just
somebody like
drafted him last year.
somebody
Yeah,
like Felton
I don't know.
Celestin, who I really hope we don't trade Celestin because I think he is going to be probably our franchise shortstop of the future. But that's just, I mean, who knows? But I would hold on to him. But that's my next question, Drew. Do you think we're going to see any of those prospects you talked about, Ford and Emerson? Possibly also, Cole Young actually would be the
But
quickest.
he'd be the next guy. Yeah.
Not yeah, he'd be over Emerson. So which do you think any of those prospects are we are going to see this year?
So out of those three, or just any non-pitcher prospects.
Any let's just say yeah, any non-pitcher prospect who is like still young. Like obviously we're probably
So
going to
not
see
Ryan Bliss.
not like a Bliss or like Tyler Locklear. We know he's probably going to play at some point for the Mariners, but I'm saying like one of the like actual kind of like younger prospects.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean no.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, I would agree.
I think Cole Young, like you said, he'd be the next guy, but he's 21. He's young. I mean, he's actually 20. I'm just looking at his profile right now.
You
Born in
only call him up out of desperation.
Yeah, I mean, he's born in 2003. I mean, I was born in 2004. I mean, we're getting to the point where it's like these players are borderline the same age as me. Kind of ridiculous.
Maybe
Uh
then the listeners will finally take us seriously.
yeah, maybe. What now I don't have any hair, Levi. I think they might because I don't have any crazy hair now. So
Right. No more
uh
crazy hair.
who does have crazy hair is Cole Young, which gets me back to my point. He has some nice hair, but I don't think it's going to carry him into the Seattle Mariners in 2024. Look, guys, he was just drafted in 2022. I mean, this guy needs another year. And I think that the Mariners would be at kind of a bad point in the season if he makes the roster, quite frankly.
Yeah.
There's a scenario where a freak injury like JP gets hurt, and Dylan Moore goes down, and now Cole Young is hitting really, really well, kind of speeds through single A, gets to double A, and then you kind of desperation call him up in like August, September for like a late season push to make the playoffs. Like that's a possibility, but I don't see it
Yeah.
happening.
No, I feel like the only chance that Cole Young would get called up is if JP is like out for the season. Because
Yeah.
if JP is down for like a few weeks, then then you let Dylan Moore or you let Samad Taylor play that role, but you're not. Yeah, but
Yeah,
if
I mean, you have to rely on
a
if you're
freak
Cole Young,
injury, maybe. But yeah.
yeah.
All right, so then
So
let's move on. Let's talk about the newcomer. So we did rookie, but let's say who do you think will be our Mariners' best newcomer?
best newcomer,
Yeah, we can
my
include
first
Mitch for this because he is technically a newcomer.
Okay, well, don't you fret. I'm not gonna go with Mitch.
Okay.
Uh, I think Mitch. I might consider going with the other Mitch in Mitch Garver,
Harvard, yeah.
but I'm not. I think that Mitch Garver is going to be really, really valuable, but he doesn't play the field. And you know who does play the field? You know who's a guy that can now mix in with Ty France, can play some left field, that
Oh,
can steal some bases.
okay.
29, going into the ripe age of 30. My guy, Luke Raleigh, he's going to be really, really good for us this year. I think one of the more underrated acquisitions for the season, the fact that we got Caballero for Riley straight up, that is highway robbery. I mean, my lord, Caballero is a role guy at best. I think his best season was last year. I think Riley's best season is still to come. You look at all the things that a player can really control: average exit velo, barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, all in the red, all above 75. And there's a lot of things to like about Raleigh. He has speed. He can play multiple positions. He can hit the ball hard. Right now, he's not great at controlling the strike zone. He's a whiff of 1 percentile and a K of 7. So he strikes out a lot. He chases a lot, but those are things that you can change in a season. Something that you necessarily can't is stuff like average exit velo and barrel percentage. You either got it or you don't. He has it. Now he just has to figure out a way to kind of limit the bad pitches he swings at. And I think going to a new team, hearing some new coaches, hitting at the bottom of the lineup is going to serve him really, really well. And he's going to be my newcomer of the year award. Maybe not necessarily the most valuable newcomer, but the most valuable based on what we gave up for him and what he needs to supply for the team.
Yeah, I like that prediction. I definitely hope you're right. I'm actually going with Mitch Garver for my newcomer of the
Yeah,
year.
that's a good pick.
I think I think just based off track record, he is such a good power hitter, and that's something that we're gonna need from him. Even if he
Yeah.
does get hurt, like he has 5 years in a row, and even if he doesn't contribute anything on defense, if he gives us 100 games as a DH and hits 25 home runs, which I think he's capable of doing that, then he will be, in my opinion, our newcomer of the year. So yeah,
With him, it's the injury.
yeah, with
You
him it's
hope it
injury.
doesn't happen, but it definitely could. So we'll see. And if he does get hurt, what's the backup plan? Mike Ford is still
Mike
hanging
Ford
around
just
somewhere.
got released and he hit 425 in spring training. Actually,
Brutal.
it's funny. The Reds fans are very, very mad that Mike Ford is not going to be on their team.
Yeah, Mike Ford, man, he just does everything you hope he does in spring training. Still not enough. I don't know.
Never
The
be
Mariners
enough.
could maybe regret that.
He's a strikeout machine. I don't know. And like I
Yeah,
said, he's
right
available.
now so is Luke Raleigh.
He's
So let's
available.
hope that changes.
Yeah, and I believe it's Rayleigh, is it not? I don't know.
Luke Raleigh,
Are we wrong?
Raleigh. It's Cal Raleigh. So I would hope it's Raleigh because it differentiates the two.
We
My
should
bad.
we should
Like,
check that later, but let's move on. So okay, so I guess we've already kind of talked about our like Mariners Cy Young kind of prediction. Do you want to do MVP next?
I mean, we can, but
You have anything else you want to touch on first, Drew?
no. I mean, I'm gonna go Julio. So
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'd say Julio too. So not much of a debate there.
not much of a debate. There's not much to say.
Well,
Julio's the best
let's
player on the
predict
team.
then instead. Let's say what will Julio do this season? How good will he be? Do you
I think
see
he's gonna be top.
Julio?
I
Do
think
you
he's gonna be top five in MVP voting. I think he's gonna be really good.
okay? Well, that's he was top five last year. So let's push it even further, Drew. Do you think Julio can win the MVP award?
Do I think? Of course.
Do you think he
Do
will?
do I predict it? No. Uh,
Wow. Okay.
he's plus odds right now. I wouldn't put my money on it, but I don't think it's a bad bet. He could definitely win it, but right now he hasn't shown me enough consistency, to be completely honest.
Is he third in the odds?
I'm not sure. I can look it up. But all
Because
I
off the
know
top
is,
of my head, the only guys I would pick ahead of him are Judge and Juan Soto in the AL. Now that Shohei's gone,
yeah, it's tough because he has.
can he be a top three player in the AL? Do you think he will? I think he will.
I don't. So right now he's fifth.
He's fifth in
He's
the odds.
he's behind Judge, Soto, Jordan Alvarez, and Corey Seager.
Oh my gosh, the Astros blazing. I'll just
Yeah.
say this right now: a designated hitter is not going to win the MVP award over Julio Rodriguez. That will not happen.
Well, if he hits 60 home runs, he could.
No, Jordan Alvarez will never win the MVP award. I mean, he won't. Like, sorry,
And then outside of Julio, you got Adley Gunner, Bobby Witt, Kyle Tucker, Mike Trout, and Vlad. And then
all have a higher chance than Jordan Alvarez.
maybe we'll see. I
He's a
don't think
D-Day.
the books are just completely wrong here. But yeah, no, for me, I don't predict him to win the MVP because he hasn't shown me enough consistency in every month of the year.
Yeah,
Really
that's
bad
true.
in April, really bad in May, started up in July. The best month statistically of any baseball player ever in August. And then September was okay. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't really rely on that to win you an MVP. It got him to top five last year, but I don't think it's going to be able to do that this year if he doesn't have a good April and a good May. And I think we will know if Julio is in the actual running to an MVP by July. I think we'll know.
Yeah, I think we will.
If
I'm gonna
Julio's
say
hitting
this. I'm not gonna predict
225,
him to win it, but I think he'll be top three in MVP voting.
yeah, so we both think he's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, we'll see what happens with Julio. Let's get into the bigger picture though, Levi.
All
The
right.
ones
We're
that
talking team
fans have
record.
been waiting for, everyone on the edge of their seat at home, really waiting for
I'm sure
Drew and
they are.
Levi to give their perfect season prediction win total. I'm gonna toss it over to my main man, Levi, over there. Levi, what do you got? How many wins will your Seattle Mariners win this year? And then tell me if they're gonna make the playoffs.
All right. Fangraphs has us sitting at 86. I'm going with 88. I think we are slightly better than what those Fangraphs projections have us at. And 88 is obviously the same amount as last year, which, for better or for worse. However, I think 88 this year will get us in the playoffs. I think the Rangers will regress. I think the Rays will regress. And I think the Mariners will get a playoff spot with 88 wins. I think the Blue Jays will regress too. So I think we stay the same. Three other teams get worse. So, and I don't really, I mean, the Yankees could improve. But other than that, I don't see a whole lot of new coming teams that are going to steal that spot. So I'm going to say we get the number 6 seed, the wild card. And then we are going to have to play the number 3 seed, which would be whoever wins the AL Central, most likely, which I think maybe will be the Royals.
Okay.
Probably either the Royals or Twins. And I think we'll win that series. And then I think we'll go play the 1 seed and probably get swept. So that's my that's my final predictions on the season. All right, let's hear it from you.
Wow. Kind of positive and then ends on a negative note.
We might not get
Here.
swept.
What?
We might not get swept. Who knows?
Wow. Look at you staying positive. Right when I thought that you had a stone cold heart, you changed up last second. We might win a game. Cool.
We might win a
Only
game in the second round of the playoffs. That's pretty good.
I know. I said you started positive, and then you moved to some, classic negative. Geno Smith is a pumpkin analyst.
Oh, come on, Drew.
I mean, it's true. You overreact to stuff
Oh, he is
sometimes,
a pumpkin.
but that's what makes you entertaining, Levi. I'm gonna give you my prediction. I'm just gonna say it straight up. 86 is kind of ridiculous for Fangraphs. We're a better team than last year, and we won 88, and that was with some injuries and with Julio not playing well, with trading our closer at the deadline. I mean, a lot of stuff happened I did not like at all. We're a better team. I think we're going to win 91, and I think we're going to win the AL West. This is our year. I really do believe that. I think the Astros got stayed the same, maybe got slightly better. You could argue the other way too, but I think the Rangers got worse, and I think the Mariners are in a prime position to finally lift the AL West trophy. Now, do I think they're going to make the World Series? We'll get to that. But as far as the regular season goes, I think 91 is going to be enough to get you in. I think the Astros are going to sit right at 90. It's going to go down to the last game. But the Mariners are going to get it done. This is a team that is better than last year, guys. We're straight up better. Like, I don't understand fans going into the season predicting less wins than what we had last year. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why Fangraphs has this 86. We're a better team than last year. We strengthened our weaknesses and we lost Jared Kelenic and Suarez. Those were two big losses. And I think we replaced them pretty well, guys. I think Luke Rayleigh, whatever the hell his name is going to be just as good as Jared Kelenic, if not better, probably better. And at third base, Suarez struck out 40% of the time. This is a team that is going to improve. They're going to win the AL West. They're going to win a playoff series. And I think they lose in the ALCS close. This is a team I'm really high on. And they could break my heart, but we'll have to see.
So I'm glad you're higher on them than I am. This is pretty classic for the sportscast, Drew.
Jeez, that was such a delayed reaction. Oh my goodness.
But look, I mean, yeah,
guys,
right.
It's just classic Drew.
It's a classic Drew. I don't know.
Just predicting a little bit more than me.
So what do you think? Do you think we win the division? Do you think we win the division?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Did you not listen to my soliloquy?
You're so
AL West champs.
So what do you think makes us better than the Astros now that we weren't last year?
I like our pitching staff better. I liked it better last year too. Staff.
It's the same.
I said I liked it better last year too. I think that.
What makes the lineup better?
Well, I think the Astros.
Compare it. Let's actually. I'm interested to go through this because maybe you can change my mind here.
We have 2 minutes left until our Zoom meeting shuts down. So let's see how much.
Yeah, let's move quickly here. All right, first base. Who's better, France or who do they have? Jose Abreu.
I mean, it's pretty clear.
I mean, they both kind of sucked last year, so.
Yeah, but Abreu has way more upside than Ty France.
Yeah, okay. Second base, who's better, Altuve, Polanco?
That's closer than I think a lot of people
would. Come on, Drew. It's Altuve.
It is. It's a lot closer.
Yeah, okay.
It's closer.
It's Altuve.
It's by not that much.
Dude, Altuve is a Hall of Famer. I don't know what Polanco's not Altuve.
Altuve's over the hill, guys. I'm saying it now. This is where he falls off.
Ah, okay. This is Kellerman off the cliff. Okay, for Altuve. All right, shortstop. Pena, Crawford, pretty similar, but I'd take Crawford.
I would take Crawford.
Yeah,
last year, Pena, yikes.
Yeah, okay. And then, so we agree there. And then third base, Bregman obviously better than Rojas.
Correct.
Catcher, I think we have him, right? Cal over their catcher. I'm blanking on his name, but he was a rookie last year. I mean, he was good last year, but he's not Cal level. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Caratini.
Caratini's their new backup, I think.
They signed it behind
Yainer Diaz, yeah. But yeah, I take Cal. Okay, DH, Alvarez or Mitch Garver?
Alvarez.
Yeah, Alvarez. Okay, so 3-3 now. And then let's see.
We really need to speed this up.
Who's in the outfield? We got Julio, Mitch, Rayleigh, and Canzone, or are we taking Tucker alongside I guess I don't really know who their other outfielders are. So maybe the Mariners do have a better lineup now.
It's close. And I think even if you give the edge to the Astros in the lineup, I think I'm so high on this pitching staff that we are a singular game better than the Astros. I don't think it's going to be that much. I think it's going to be just enough.
Okay. Well, I hope you're right, Drew. And with that being said, guys, comment down below. What are your predictions? What's your record predictions? MVP, Cy Young, all that good stuff. We want to hear it. And thank you all so much for watching. This is the NW Sportscast. Mariners are so close. We're going to be doing hopefully every single game recaps. So you guys are not going to want to miss that. Drew, any closing words?
See you guys. Go Mariners.